At this point, how would you not get sick and tired of random people sharing their success secrets on social media? How would you not be fed up with influencers selling courses and online marketers driving you crazy with their freaking ads, proving how long 5 seconds can be? Everyone preaches their secrets to success, and you have no clue if it's garbage or useful advice. From the day you were born, you're part of a system, an educational and social framework to prepare you to function as a future member of that system. You take student loans as debt today so you can get a good education to then land a well-paying job to pay off your debt. You then try to climb the career ladder to make more money so you have something left after spending most of your earnings on tax and rent. There's nothing wrong with being part of that wheel as long as you're able to live by the values you set for yourself. In many cases, people live by other people's values, following what society determines as desirable and valuable: consumption, status, and sickening self-improvement routines. How about a life on your terms, defining the rules for your own game? Understanding how role models and idols work and how to use them can accelerate your success journey. Role models are nice inspirational figures for the average Jane or John Doe, but they can literally change lives for those who are different, those who aren't made for the system, those who struggle to comply and have a strong individual drive, living life completely on their terms. Idols and role models give us the permission to break rules and conventions, even if that requires lots of resilience to handle the pressure and expectations coming from the system people. You are constantly exposed to self-doubt and anxiety because you don't have many people who share your particular values. So it's even more important to have people who make us feel okay to pursue whatever crazy ideas we have. We want to look up to another human being, validating that we are more than failing misfits in a hamster wheel. Human beings are heavily influenced by things they see have been done before. We always watch these motivational videos saying you have to be visionary and do things that haven't been done before. But in reality, many things have been done before, and very few people are true visionaries, like Johann Sebastian Bach or Leonardo da Vinci. For most of us, role models work because they encourage us to follow through with whatever ideals we want to fulfill in our life. An idol or role model is a behavioral model for us. They represent values that we find admirable, and they choose paths in life that we would like to go. Adopting standards and morals of our idols gives us a sense of pride as well. We feel closer connected to the people we look up to when we follow their behavior, becoming a bit more like them, bridging the gap between us and our ideal. The world of idols and role models can be a misleading one, especially online, because an image of a person isn't real, it's just a label. Fake. This fake world of selling dreams that don't exist became part of today's society. You're just one click away from another multi-level marketing ad. You're just one video or post away from blowing your money on people who couldn't care less about your success. Plus, they don't even have a clue about success themselves. And the narrative of people wanting to share their secret recipes because they want to help others is a lie. Very few people in this world genuinely do things just to help you. Most people aren't running businesses to help humanity. They're in business for ego, money, prestige, and power. The rest are side effects, and that's okay. What's wrong is the creation of their fake image as an impactful person who just wants to help. And people do insane things for money and approval. But it's not that easy to doom all of these online characters, because if you think about it, even the idols who achieved massive offline success in the first place, they are online personalities for almost all of us. Anyone from Cristiano Ronaldo, Elon Musk, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, our relationship with them solely exists through our screens. And even those offline superstars like entrepreneurs and athletes, let's face it, by now it's fairly redundant to hear the same advice over and over again. Dream big and work hard. But they are role models for a reason. But first, let's get back to the online gurus for a second. Why are there so many of them? The answer is social pressure coming from social media. There's an artificial pressure to live up to shallow standards and delusional images. We see flashy images of others seemingly having money, power, freedom, and expensive cars. This subconsciously tricks us into thinking this is all that matters in life. And it also makes us believe it's easy because everyone seems to have it, except you. So you want to change something and turn your life around as well. The next thing you notice, it somehow doesn't work that easy at all. Your 9 to 5 doesn't pay enough, you don't really have any business ideas, and if you do, you have no clue how to get people to pay you for whatever it is that you're offering. And neither are you a tech genius nor a stock market wizard. That is quite frustrating. Nothing seems to get you any closer to your dream life, the one you see on social media. You get more frustrated, impatient, and start to feel insufficient. There just has to be a formula, a trick, a recipe that the successful people have and you don't. This is the point the world of internet gurus get most people. You're now very accessible to be sold on their idea of what your life should look like. They seem to have the magic quick solution to the problems you have. In reality, the online world has created those problems for you. You adopted their values and goals, not necessarily the ones you really care about. Okay, that all sounds horrible, and yet here we are, subscribing to the ideas and concepts of people we have never met and only know from the internet or formerly radio and TV. But despite scammers and fake gurus, more than enough do we find helpful information to apply to our lives. We gain knowledge, find motivation, or improve our health. The conclusion here, we do not have to know the person we extract value from. For our success blueprint, we are still facing the challenge of identifying the legitimate authorities in a world of scam artists and fake gurus. How do we know where to draw value from? You'd be surprised how much that has to do with your perspective and very little to do with them. The key is to separate the message from the sender. Assume that valuable information is valuable regardless of the person the advice comes from. A good piece of advice will always be a good piece of advice. Assuming a person has tons of backlash and criticism on not being legit, in what way could that person still easily dominate or outperform you? If that area or skill is something you aspire to master as well, then that person qualifies as valuable to you, even if they aren't trustworthy. It's not so much about are any of them actually good. It's about what's the most obvious, observable value they bring. A great example is the Wolf of Wall Street, Jordan Belfort. Despite the cool image he has now, he still scammed thousands of people and committed fraud at scale. Many of his past actions do not necessarily make him a trustworthy person. But when it comes to sales and persuasion, he would absolutely crush you, me, and 99% of the population. He's just that good at it. You don't need to trust him to learn from him. Andrew Tate, for example, regardless of whether he's legit or not, he's obviously very articulate in all of his interviews, so it's probably smart to listen to him whenever it comes to building your arguments, making a lasting impression, and improving your verbal skills. This way, you separate the message of that person from his image, which allows you to better assess the true value that person can provide in the very moment. You don't have to like the person and you don't need them to be legit. You extract from them whatever you need. There's no need to expect more from a person than they have to offer in the first place. As long as you are a good person who's legit, you don't need to seek advice on that from others. This is what you bring to the table. One of our biggest mistakes is that we set our expectations of others and then expect them to adjust and appeal to that. In reality, other people neither know what our expectations and values are, nor do they care about them. It's much more effective to look at whatever it is that a person can provide and then adjust our expectations accordingly. This would lead to a very accurate match and satisfaction. And one role model or idol does not have to have everything in place. It's sufficient that they represent some of your core values and goals. Don't underestimate the potential you bring to the table yourself. A role model shouldn't be used as an absolute model, but a relative one. Let's take an elite athlete like Cristiano Ronaldo. He's a role model for millions of people, kids, teens, adults. A role model is not particularly made to copy-paste their life. An effective role model serves as an orientation and guide for you to connect with your own journey to success. By the way, copying and emulating certain aspects of them is perfectly normal and helpful along the way. If you are lost, you seek guidance to get back on track. But the further you progress in your own career, sports, entertainment, business, the more you will notice how your path deviates from the one of your role model, typically. The life of one human being has too many variables to factor in, including genetics and luck. Trying to control them just to get closer to your ideal is impossible, and it's insanely stressful as well. You have to go with the flow of life, not against it, just to show you how uncontrollable the variables are. Ronaldo had a heart condition, a racing heart, and it was also beating irregularly. At age 15, he had a surgery and it went well. The rest is history. Imagine you literally had the exact genetics of Ronaldo, same talent, same upbringing, but your heart surgery would not have gone well. Imagine having Ronaldo's exact life from 1 to age 18, when things took off in his career. The tiny difference, you have a slight tendency to get injured. One game, one injury, and gone is your GOAT career. How would that make you feel? Comparing yourself to an ideal you cannot match. Right, miserable. What's an uplifting example for these turns in life? Well, a young, half-black, half-Samoan guy who desperately wanted to be an NFL star but never got drafted. No stardom and neither a role model? Completely wrong, because life took that person on another path, and today we know him as Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Looking at our blueprint to success and Ronaldo as a role model, what can we copy from him? Here's the answer. Despite all the immense success, he strictly sticks to his standards as a professional and doesn't let ego get in his way. Most people give in the face of an intense dopamine high. It takes strong principles, discipline, and personal standards to make success as sustainable as he did. The ability of resisting the sweet temptation of short-term glory is vastly underestimated. Ronaldo's core values seem to be family and dedication to excellence and improvement. If we apply that approach to Elon Musk, what can we copy from him? Elon Musk is the role model of so many aspiring entrepreneurs. There are countless forums and threads with people asking how to be like Elon Musk, how to achieve what he does. It sounds like people literally want to become him. The problem here, this desire is completely based on the idea that a vision and enough hard work are sufficient to reach anything you want, including building the next billion-dollar company. That's the popular narrative, the Hollywood story. In reality, luck does play a role. There's no way you will accomplish that 1% success level if luck isn't on your side and the flow of life doesn't support you every once in a while. Desperately trying to be that self-made person who achieves everything by himself through hard work and grind, get over it. Instead of focusing on outcomes that are completely out of your control, find something else that Elon Musk does that contributed to his particular type of success. Something that's not an external circumstance that benefits him, but rather a pattern he follows, a procedure or a perspective he had to learn and adopt at some point. God-given assets can't be easily replicated, so you rather want to study the acquired skills and behavioral patterns of your idols. For example, Elon Musk relies heavily on physics and first principles thinking. He breaks ideas and concepts down to the fundamentals and avoids any upfront assumption. He's someone who genuinely wants to understand something before he jumps to conclusions based on possibly wrong assumptions. This is something that can be a game changer to anything you want to tackle. Your learning curve in any craft is always being slowed down by the existing ideas in your head. Instead of a student who knows nothing and wants to learn everything, you already know everything and think you have shit figured out. You're clueless and don't even realize. This is the type of dangerous that you do not want to be. Next time you're trying to become Elon Musk, sharpen the tools you already have. Instead of driving yourself insane about not having invented the next spaceflight company yet, without the tiniest clue on a single action step. If you want to be dangerous in a smart way, better integrate being pragmatic and humble into your delusion. For well-accomplished, famous people like the above mentioned, it seems relatively easy to assess their credibility as for success. But again, how can you specifically tell whether other online people, like the gurus we mentioned in the intro, can be good sources for accelerating your success? The following points will help you to better assess online authorities and their credibility. Transparency. How transparent is an online authority about their process to success? You know the most common YouTube comments on these online gurus? It's usually something like, how did they become successful? Or do they only make money by talking about how to make money? Do you have any transparency on where an authority got his or her expertise from? Is their story reasonable? If a 20-something-year-old tells you that they sustainably made millions from day trading and you can do that too, that's probably bullshit and an insanely ridiculous idea. If an entrepreneur tells you they have a concept that makes it easy for you to earn 5 figures a month purely passive income, that's ridiculous. And for those few people who, let's assume, have a secret recipe for success and money, there is no way they would share that with anyone, because having it gives them power. People only share secrets if the profit from sharing the secret is higher than the profit the secret produces. The core part of most success stories is not as cool as it is being sold to you. The entrepreneur and YouTuber Jordan Welch, for example, gives some good transparency on his ups and downs of building his income streams. It seems very reasonable. In terms of money, Stephen Graham is a finance YouTuber and he's very transparent about his income streams, as it should be. Self-proclaimed authorities. For self-proclaimed authorities, try to find whether they have lots of content about them operating under a different name, trying to promote their brand by fake reviews. For example, you click on a review video that seems to be unbiased at first sight, only to find that the video is basically produced by the person you want the review about. Thus, it's not objective, neither genuine. In a sense, multi-level marketing does that at scale. You have different people talking about a product, but these people all subscribe to the same ideology and they financially benefit from it. How can you take their word for granted? How much genuine effort does a person put into their content, product or message, as opposed to making a quick buck out of you? When you see someone like Gary Vee or Jordan Peterson putting their speeches and concepts on YouTube and other sites for free, thousands of pieces of advice, then you can clearly get value out of that without being pushed into buying anything. And then it's more than okay for them to sell you on stuff on top of that. You're pulled into that. But for those people who only aim to quickly convince you about their approach or recipe being the true path to success, their best interest is questionable. Lastly, just because people try to make money off you, they're not necessarily scam artists. They might just be poor business people. And again, it's your job to separate the message from the sender. Take whatever is valuable for you and move on. Don't ever get fully absorbed in the ideology of one person. This video does not come with a fancy outro. Thanks for watching. Subscribe.